Absolutely no generative AI was used in the production of this video. Support human artists and fiercely oppose AI slop.
Generative AI. We've seen a lot about it in the past couple of years, and I'm sure a lot of us have a lot of opinions in regards to it, especially when it comes to its use in art. A lot of debate seems to be coming up with people getting heated on both sides of the issue, whether or not works generated by AI can be classified as art or not. And one aspect of it possibly being classified as art is the simple question of, can AI-generated art be copyrighted? And despite the fact that it has a very simple answer, we still have companies rushing around trying to exploit the loopholes of IP law like they have done in the past in order to make sure that their bottom line is protected and the consumers get screwed. The first time I was introduced to this idea was when OpenAI and Meta were being sued for pirating a lot of books to train their AI models. And not like tiny amounts either. The numbers given were upwards of 7.5 million books and 81 million research papers, with the response being that it was fair use. Yeah, even without needing to look into it, just no, not at all remotely true. Again, harping on a major criticism I have with people who use the term fair use as a get out of jail free card. Under no pretense would this be classified as fair use in any stretch of the word, trying to exploit the general populace's understanding of intellectual property law, as in basically nothing. Which fails almost immediately when we see that the word used every single time when we refer to these downloaded documents is pirated. And we are the generation that grew up with the you wouldn't download a car ads. So we had it drilled in our mind that that is a no-no word. And we have seen multiple times over and over and over in the history of the internet, people getting in trouble for way less. Because we've had the message hammered into our brains ever since we were children. Intellectual property law is super important and we must treat it as if it is the greatest thing in the history of the world. I mean, there was a case very similar to the situation where Aaron Swartz downloaded 4.8 million articles from JSTOR because he didn't believe that information should be hidden behind a paywall. And these two stole significantly more than Aaron Swartz did. Purely on a mathematical level, these two should be royally screwed, right? And yet, despite the fact that Sam Altman has been caught red-handed trying to steal the books, caught red-handed in trying to hide the evidence, and every single person who is affiliated with the books that Sam Altman stole explicitly saying they did not consent to what he did, and everything that he did violated their intellectual property rights, Sam Altman walks free to this day. Meanwhile, JSTOR explicitly said that they had no interest in pursuing charges against Aaron Swartz, and yet the US government decided that they wanted to sue Aaron Swartz so badly that he was forced to take his own life in order to avoid bankrupting his family. And funnily enough, Aaron Swartz and Sam Altman were at one point friends, or at the very least college students together. Very odd to just see the two completely different paths of these sort of like tech bros from that era. Given that piece of information, you might actually think for a second, maybe it's because there was a similar perspective in regards to intellectual property from these two. But that's not true, because OpenAI decided to take it even further. First, by crying that the Chinese AI company DeepSeek was committing copyright infringement by using ChatGPT to train its AI model, but also by very openly lobbying the Trump administration into trying to change copyright law so that their copyright infringement is fine, but not any form of copyright infringement that hurts their bottom line. It's like that classic saying, socialism for the rich and capitalism for the poor. And since the pedo-in-chief is so whipped, he does the bidding without a hint of remorse. And now, so much of the infrastructure that we currently have in the internet age is super reliant on artificial intelligence, to the point where if any of these AI companies fail, then it's basically economic collapse. Privatize profits and socialize risks. Meanwhile, Sam continues to gaslight everybody by trying to claim that the current copyright system and the way OpenAI is doing its systems and everything is perfectly fine under the current intellectual property system. Which is true, but not in the way that he's telling us. He's trying to tell us that the system is fair, and that this is fair under the system. No, the system is inherently unfair. The current intellectual property system is segregated. The rich can do whatever they want. They can steal whatever they want. Who's going to stop them? But the poor? If we try to do something like that, oh boy, we're screwed. Because if you just look at things for more than 2 seconds, you realize it can't be true. If the system is perfectly fine, why would he have to give Trump so much money in order to lobby to fix intellectual property law to specifically give sections to AI? And why would one of his employees, Suchir Balaji, be able to build a case against OpenAI for open copyright infringement, who would also coincidentally be suicided? A very interesting coincidence, wouldn't you agree? Why else do you think all these things are shoved in every online product that never needed it? Because they gotta justify the $500 billion investment. Even to the point where Trump tried to fire the Register of Copyrights because she published a report simply reaffirming the basic principle of copyrightability: human authorship. One of the most intrinsic rules of copyright that has been reaffirmed time and time again every time this case gets brought up is the fact that works generated by non-humans are not eligible for copyright. Thus, every AI-generated work is public domain. And if you think about it, objectively, that just makes complete sense. You put in zero work to make the AI-generated work, all the work is done by a computer. The response usually given by AI bros is something like, oh yeah? Well, all the work is done by cameras, and yet you support the copyrightability of photos. First of all, no. Second of all, let's just do a simple comparison of photography versus AI generation. One, you have to set up the camera, frame the subjects, check the angle, fix the lighting, change the filters, all before you even snap the picture. And afterwards, there's so much more you can do. If it's an older image, you would have to develop it. And if it's a modern photo, you can digitally edit it after the fact. Meanwhile, AI generating an image is typing words in a prompt and clicking enter. The only way that this gets quote-unquote difficult is by clicking on it again when you don't get the image that you want. That's the thing that they always say, like, oh, we put in prompts and prompts get the image just right. It's like, that's not work. It's the computers doing all of the work, not you. Compare that to this video that you are watching right now. Here's the computer's job that it has in this video. It holds all the software that I need to edit the video and record the video. That's it. But I record the video. I edit the images and the video. I actually do work with the video. Good, bad, or otherwise, I actually put in the work to make this video as it exists right now. The AI-generated video slop of Goku versus Iron Man? No, you don't own that. The Copyright Office put some guidelines that could make certain uses of AI works and art eligible for copyright, but it's in very specific circumstances, and one of the biggest aspects of that being that the original work cannot be made by AI. It has to be a work that is created by a person and touched up by AI. A complete antithesis to the hack known as Jason M. Allen, who wanted to claim copyright over the Mid-Journey generated image Space Opera Theater. Unsurprisingly, he has been denied every step of the way. The closest thing that he has gotten to owning anything in regards to this image are the small sections that he edited via Photoshop, as that falls into the rules established by the Copyright Office. And he should consider himself lucky that they gave him that, because the original image was generated by AI. So technically, he shouldn't be able to own anything in regard to this image, but they gave him the wiggle room of, well, you did use human work in certain aspects of this image, so you can own certain things in this image. This case reigns very similar to the monkey selfie controversy, where a monkey named Naruto took a selfie and the guy who owned the camera tried to claim that he owned the photo and went around claiming anybody who published the image without paying him royalties would be paying a significantly larger sum when he won a court case against them. And one of the many twists and turns that happened in regard to this case was that the people for the ethical treatment of animals decided to launch their own lawsuit related to the case, stating that the monkey should own the copyrights to the images. And I know a lot of you are probably going to rush to the comment section to try and clown on PETA for this, but I actually think they're right. If these images are copyrightable, then the monkey should own them because the monkey took the photos. In that same vein, if AI-generated works are copyrightable, then the AI program should own it, not the guy who sat there and kept refreshing the prompt 624 times, nor the company that created the AI program initially. Would you all agree that that is fair? Unless your answer is a resounding yes, you do not believe that works generated by AI can be copyrighted. And for those of you who really don't seem to think that, I need you to understand this. The fact that AI-generated works are public domain are the only thing that's protecting you. Because if you genuinely believe that every single AI-generated thing that you make can be copyrighted, that means that you open yourself to the potential of being sued by every single company whose trademark, copyright, patent, anything that you violate to make your images. Every single AI-generated image of Studio Ghibli characters arresting old ladies, every single future of cinema video where you take a copyrighted character and make a CG mess no better than the stuff that film companies have been releasing now, all of it. Your only protection is that by the virtue of it being public domain, you can't get punished. Only the AI companies that allow for this technology to exist can be punished for it. Which is why these AI companies are so desperate to convince you all that this is all about you. Because if you perceive an attack on a billion-dollar media conglomerate as an attack on you, they get a bunch of free soldiers rushing to defend them, despite the fact that there is literally no gain in this scenario for you at all. On the contrary, only negative things come out of the system, ignoring some basic things like the massive environmental concerns that the AI industry has. A big ask, but just for the sake of the topic, let's do it anyways. In every other aspect, things just get worse. As mentioned prior, the segregation of IP law just gets way more noticeable. Media conglomerates get to take whatever they want to make a quick buck without facing any repercussions, while the common man gets arrested for doing the same thing without any profit incentive. Media companies are forced to cater to this audience, an audience that has made it abundantly clear that they are totally fine with using certain IPs like action figures, which literally just proves the entire current thesis of the media industry right, that they should be doing more of this. Even though literally one of the main criticisms that we just had was the fact that the media industry does not have any original ideas and simply regurgitates the same old IPs over and over again. And now they have literally been given a tool that allows them to simply feed you your IP slop without having to go through any of the actual processes needed to produce art. Especially not those pesky union rules that force them to actually pay people to produce the stuff. Which in turn also actively encourages companies to become more protective of their intellectual property, leading to more restrictions for the rest of us. Media conglomerates have been going after the Internet Archive for years, as it's an internet library that has been pushing for free information to the masses since the inception of the site. Which of course has enraged the powerful, who want a monopoly on our culture. And despite a lot of troubles, the Internet Archive has always managed to slip by the skin of their hair. And now, AI is being used as the new boogeyman, people worrying that the Internet Archive can be used to circumvent all the current restrictions on the current media industry. And due to that fact, now a lot of sites just don't want to put their stuff on the Internet Archive, or will even allow the Internet Archive to archive any of their things in the first place. And while all of these current archives and encyclopedias on the internet get slowly whittled away, what replaces them? A tool that allows them to simply just regurgitate their own beliefs onto a bunch of stupid people. So yeah, if you haven't pieced it together already, AI art is bad. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell to when a future video mine comes out. And if you want more content from me, consider supporting me on Patreon.